My name is Zenjia Pei, metric number 204480. I will talk about question 1. In the question, we know that the random sample is equal 42, the sample standard deviation is equal 1.1, the sample mean is equal 5.5, the degree of confidence is equal 0.99. So we will calculate the confidence interval for the population mean. We will use the formula is confidence interval equal the sample mean plus or minus the z times the sample standard deviation divided the square root random sample. So we will get 5.5 plus or minus 2.58 times 1.1 divided the square root of 2. So we will get 5.5 plus or minus 0.4380. At the last, the confidence interval we will get is 5.062 or 5.938.
My name is Missy, image number 30658. I will explain the question 2A first. The question asks about the difference between null hypothesis and the alternative hypothesis. So null hypothesis is a statement about the value of a population parameter developed for the purpose of testing numerical evidence, while alternative hypothesis is a statement that is asserted if the sample data provides sufficient evidence that the null hypothesis is false. Question 2B asks about the difference between a one-tailed test and two-tailed test. So one-tailed test is checked for the difference in one direction only. One-tailed test has two, which is left-tailed test and right-tailed test, while two-tailed test checks for the difference in both directions. Question 2C asks the meaning of the p-value. So p-value is the probability of obtaining test result at least as extreme as the observed data, assuming the hypothesis is true. A small p-value indicates a strong evidence against the null hypothesis, suggesting it should be rejected.
Question 2D asks about the decision for a statistical significant change in average weight above at the 5% level of significance. So from the question, we know that the mean equals to 6.6, sample size equals to 7, significant level equals to 0.05. So from this, we can calculate the sample mean and we get the answer 7.557. And we can calculate the sample standard deviation, which is equals to 1.177. Step 1, we must state the null hypothesis and the alternative hypothesis. So the null hypothesis is that the mean equals to 6.6, while the alternative hypothesis is that the mean not equals to 6.6. Step 2, we need to select the level of the significant. The significant level is equals to 0.05. While step 3, we need to identify the test statistic. We use the t-distribution because the population standard deviation is unknown. Step 4, we must formulate a decision rule. So from the t-table, we note that the t-critical equals to 2.447. Then we can formulate the decision rule. Reject null hypothesis if computed t greater than 2.447. And reject null hypothesis if computed t lesser than negative 2.447. Step 5, we need to calculate the t statistic and we will get the answer 2.151. So we can do the conclusion now. 2.159, 2.151 does not fall in the rejection area, so no hypothesis is not rejected. Next, we move on to question 3A. So question 3A need us to list out a 5 steps to perform the hypothesis testing. So step 1 is state null and alternative hypothesis. Step 2 is select a level of significance. Step 3 is identify the test statistic. Step 4 is formulate a decision rule. And the last step is take a sample and arrive at the decision. Question 3B asks about at the 0.1 significant level, can we conclude that the mean salary are greater for the fast food worker than the restaurant workers? And what is the p-value? So for the question, we can know that the degree of the freedom is equals to 9. The significant level is equals to 0.1. So from that, we can calculate the sample mean. The sample mean for the fast food is equals to 142.5, but for the restaurant it's the 130.25. Then we can calculate the sample standard deviation. The standard deviation for the fast food is 12.2434, and the sample standard deviation for the restaurant is 15.7873. Step 1, we must state the null hypothesis and the alternative hypothesis. The null hypothesis is that the mean of the fast food less or equals to mean of the restaurant, while the alternative hypothesis is that the mean of the fast food greater than the mean of the restaurant. Step 2, we must select the significant level. For this question, the significant level is equals to 0.1. Step 3, we must identify the test statistic. So for this question, we use the distribution because the population standard deviation is unknown. Step 4 means we need to formulate a decision rule. From the t table, we know that the t critical equals to 1.363. Then we can formulate the decision rule, which is reject null hypothesis if computed t greater than 1.363. Step 5, we must first calculate the post-sample standard deviation. So we substitute the sample size and the sample standard deviation into the formula. We will get the post-sample standard deviation equals to 204.09. Then we will get the t-value equals, then we must calculate the t-value, and we will get the t-value equals to 1.537. So from this, we can make the conclusion. Since t equals to 1.537 lies between t equals to 1.383 and t equals to 1.833, therefore the p-value is less than 0.1 and greater than 0.05. The decision is to reject the null hypothesis because 1.537 falls in the rejection area. We conclude that mean salary for fast food workers are greater than the restaurant workers.
I will talk about question 4a. In the question, we will compare the difference in the pre-training survey and post-training survey. We will know that the significant level is 0.05, and we will solve the question is decision regarding the hypothesis that the training was effective in improving the customer relationship. Step 1, the null hypothesis H0 is the mean D less than or equal to 0. The alternative hypothesis H1 is mean D greater than 0. Step 2 is distribution level is equal 0.05. Step 3 is use a T distribution. Step 4, reject HO if the complete T that greater than 1.943. So we will draw the distribution graph for the reject HO error and the non-reject HO error. Step 5 is the mean that is equal the sum of the D divided N. So we'll get 14 divided 7 is the mean will equal 2. And the standard deviation, the formula is equal the square root for sum of D by minus the mean then power 2 divided the n minus 1. So we'll get the square root 2 minus 2 power 2 plus 0 minus 2 power 2 plus 0 minus 2 power 2 plus 3 minus 2 power 2 plus 2 minus 2 power 2 plus 1 minus 2 power 2 plus 6 minus 2 power 2 divided 7 minus 1. So we will get the square root 26 divided 6. We'll get 2.0817. So the t will is equal the means divided the standard deviation times the square root n. So we will get 2 divided 2.0817 times square root 7. So we will get the t is equal 2.542. 2.542 is fall inside the rejection area, so we will reject HO. We conclude the training was effective in improving the customer relationship. I will talk about question 4b. In the question, we will calculate how many treatment and the total sample size, critical value of F, null and alternative hypothesis, and conclude regarding the null hypothesis. A. Calculate treatment. Degree of freedom is equal to k minus 1 equal to k is equal 3. B. Total sample size n minus 1 equal 11, n is equal 12. C. Critical value of F, simulation level is 0.05. Degree of freedom treatment is equal to degree of freedom error is equal 11 minus 2 is equal 9. n is equal to and 9. The distribution is equal 4.26. D is the null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis, which is the null hypothesis H0 is equal means 1 equal mean 2 equal mean 3. The alternative hypothesis H1 is the mean are not all equal. And the E is concluded regarding for the null and the hypothesis. So we will use the formula MSE equal SSE divided n minus k. So 20 equal SSE divided 9, so the SSE is equal 118. So want to calculate the MSD is MSD equal SSD divided K minus 1. So we will get 320 divided 2, and then we will get the MSD is 160. We want to calculate the SSD is SSD equal SSD total minus SSE, which is 500 minus 118, so we will get the SSD is 320. The F distribution, we will use the formula to calculate is F equal MSD divided MSE. So we will get 160 divided 20. So the F distribution is equal 8. So in the conclusion, 8 falls in the rejected area. So conclusion reject H0, which is reject the uh, null hypothesis. So means that the means are not all equal. I will talk about question 4c. In the question, we know that the solution level is 0.05, and we will use the 6 steps hypothesis testing process to check the difference that means flight time among the three airlines. Step 1. Null hypothesis H0 is mean G equal mean J equal mean C. The alternative hypothesis is H1 means are not all equal. Step 2 is the solution level is 0.05. Step 3, if the F distribution greater than the critical F values, we will reject the H0. Step 4 is the degree of freedom, which is the numerator is equal K minus 1 formula. So we will get 3 minus 1 equal 2. And the of freedom for the denominator is equal n minus k. So we will get 35 minus 3 is equal 32. So we will draw the graph for the distribution for reject the HO error and non-reject the HO error. So step 5 is we will key in the amount for the data that we get in the question give in the calculation. We've used the calculator to get the amount for the sum of the square and the degree of freedom and the means of square and the F distribution. So at the last, we get the sum of the square for treatment is 127.114. Sum of the square for error is 669.857. And the degree of freedom for treatment is 2. Degree of freedom for error is 32. The means of square for the treatment is 63.557, and the means of square of error is 20.933, and the last F distribution we get is 3.04. So at the conclusion, 3.04 falls outside the rejection error, so do not reject the HO. We cannot conclude that there is a difference in the mean flight times among the three airlines.